It's a pretty exciting time for our industry, with seemingly so many airlines in the process of looking to finalise a new aircraft order, and Hong Kong-based Cathay Pacific is the next one on the list to take a look at, with the company looking to purchase new wide-body aircraft as part of a continued overhaul of its business. Two aircraft being up for grabs here, it's the 777X and, interestingly, the 787. Such a purchase would also come just a matter of weeks after airline executives celebrated a pretty major commitment to Airbus planes, showing there are absolutely no signs of slowing down. According to Bloomberg, the airline is considering further developing that all-important wide-body fleet, and to really facilitate this, it'll look towards Boeing this time for the addition of more aircraft. This deal is in the early stages, with the specific options not yet formalised, and of course, if they're going to lean further to say one aircraft or the other, what is very clear at this point is that the purchase will favour Boeing. Securing additional Boeing aircraft to fuel future growth would essentially act as the final pillar of Cathay Pacific's major fleet renewal and growth efforts, and allow it to really set itself up in the perfect manner to meet demand that will arrive in the coming decades. You may know that Cathay Pacific already has the 777X in its order book, and actually only in the last few weeks came out and said it was very disappointed in Boeing over the fresh delays, becoming the latest in a string of airlines to say something similar. And just a few weeks after that, well, it's back in for potentially more 777X jets. Is that frustration valid? Yes, for sure. Can that frustration and disappointment be leveraged for potentially a better deal? Oh, absolutely. And I think many of you would sit here today and argue that something very similar happened with Emirates, who have been the most critical on the 777X, and then announced at the end of 2023 a major top-up order for the aircraft. In terms of the 777X, it would be a really lucrative contract for Boeing to win for this long-haul aircraft that has had so many issues but now really does seem to be heating up, something I'll get into in the second part of this video. As for the 787 Dreamliner, well, at the beginning of the video I said that that was a more interesting acquisition. That's because this is a type not currently in its order book, but touted as a possible option alongside the 777X for future flying. There may be some of you that are listening to this and maybe raise the prospect of added fleet complexity by bringing in the 787 rather than, say, trying to streamline and having a more reduced number of series operating, but it's something they're keen on. I'd like to hear your take. Do you believe overlapping in jets that it flies in the coming decades is necessarily a problem, or do you see it as something that offers them greater flexibility? For example, based on fleet data, we know the airline already flies the A350 and also purchased the A330neo, the latter being a competitor to the 787. Now, while of course they could go out and purchase a specific variant of the Dreamliner that wouldn't compete with the A330neo, onlookers may argue that existing planes that they have could do the job, and maybe they're overcomplicating matters. The overlapping comments certainly is a more recent development that I'd say is put forward. We know that such a big focus has been placed industry-wide on streamlining. What this means is basically looking to minimize complexities with the available fleet types, sticking to a core handful of aircraft that can benefit you, lowering operating costs, lowering crew training requirements, and many other related things. As for the 777X, well, despite struggling to get approval to actually have passengers aboard, it's been a very busy couple of weeks. Riyadh Air firstly expressed its desire to commit to additional wide-body planes, with the 777X a very real possibility to complement an existing order for the 787 Dreamliner, which is pretty exciting to say the least for this an airline that still hasn't actually flown. Meanwhile, China Airlines are also looking to finalise a new wide-body aircraft order, including the purchase of the 777X to renew its fleet and expand it further to meet strong levels of demand. Despite this, recent delays in the delivery of the 777X have really clouded the progress of the long-haul jet and its success with prospective orders, for it still is unable to fly with passengers nearly 5 years after it was initially meant to enter service. With that being said, it's exciting to hear that Cathay Pacific are looking to purchase a new aircraft, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on if the 787 is a good choice and if they should go in for more 777Xs, maybe leveraging that disappointment to their advantage. Take care, be safe, and I'll see you tomorrow.
and we'll fly.